Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 992nd Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Just to say, this battle is fought on one of our new custom maps. If you notice here, unusually, this is a pretty flat map here. As you know, a lot of you know, I tend to host on maps with undulating ground or hills and slopes and things like that. So this is an unusual map for me to host on. I think Brotherhood member Mars requested this map. Okay, but we've got woods there if you want to fight in the woods or hide troops and spring those ambushes there. Okay, our first teammate is a Brotherhood member Vidar. Now Vidar's got 14 Sacred Band, 5 Cavalry and 1 Slinger unit. Okay, quick look at the upgrades on his units there. You'll see a lot of his, several of his units are hiding there. In the woods there, we got 7 upgrades, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his spearman. And he's got, look at his cavalry over this end here, Sacred Band cavalry units there. He's got 7 upgrades on also, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And I think if I remember correctly, he's got a horse, a light horse unit there as well, a long shield, light horse unit for speed there. So that'll probably be a tried and tested Vidar Carthage army, and unusually a second Carthage army with Brotherhood member Fesen. Has got his faction of choice, and he's got his usual Carthage army of 16 Sacred Bands and 3 militia units there, which he puts out in front of his battle formation, as we've seen on many occasions, to soak up enemy pilers. And that is his faction of choice. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Mars. Nice to see Mars back on Rome Total War. He's had a little bit of a break. Now he's got 5 Silver Shield Legionnaires, 5 Silver Shield Pikes, 3 Archers, 5 Cavalry and 1 Horse Archer unit. If you have a look at his Silver Shield Legionnaires there, if you look closely, they look very much like Roman troops. They can form testudo, they can throw pilers, and actually they're pretty solid infantry. And you see he's just got gold shield, gold attack on his legionnaires. Now we move on to his pikemen there, and he's got 8 upgrades on them, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. I think the Seleucid morale's not that good with the pikes, that's why we've got 2 experience stripes. And look at this length of those pikes that enemy troops have got to fight down there. Of course, the Seleucid archers are only medium range, and of course you can see they don't wear any armour, so their defence is pretty poor, and as I say, just medium range archers there. But a lot of people would say this is the real strength of the Seleucids, and that is 8 upgrades on their cavalry, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack for their cataphracts. These guys are often called the tanks of the ancient world, because they're armoured from head to toe, and used correctly they can be battle winning troops there. And I think he's got a horse missile unit there as well. They are militia, fast moving cavalry unit there. So that'll be interesting to see how well Mars does with that army during the course of the battle. Okay, and our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander. Has got a very old Roman army of 14 infantry and 5 cavalry. Let's say unusual, I would suggest, to see 2 Carthage factions in one team. I always think that's unusual. And of course, with the Seleucid pikes as well, there's a heck of a lot of anti-cavalry units there. So when you see the enemy selection, you might be surprised. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Vicox, who has bought the Parthian faction. Now he's got 10 cavalry, 4 archers and 3 peasants. Okay, quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry. Oh, fully upgraded unit there. 3 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. And just to say, there's the Parthian general there. As I say, they are the tanks of the ancient world. The cataphracts are. But remember, they are heavily armoured. So they can get tired quite quickly. There's another fully upgraded unit. I think if I remember correctly, he had some with 8 upgrades on and some that were fully upgraded, if I remember. Yes, there you are. So he's got mixed upgrades, but the upgrades on his cavalry are extremely high, which makes these cavalry really tough. Now, just to say, before we introduced the 10 cavalry max, oh, there's the archers there. Only medium range, and you can see they don't wear any armour either, so they are pretty poor. As I say, the archers and infantry of Parthia are pretty poor. That's why and there's the peasants there to soak up the enemy pilers. But the reason that we've allowed 10 cavalry max for Parthia is because, to be honest with you, with the old rules of 6 cavalry max, right, we never saw Parthia on the 31k battlefield. So to make it more competitive, that's when we introduced the 10 cavalry max for Parthia, simply because, as I said, their archers and infantry are so poor. So it'll be interesting to see how well Vicox handles those cavalry during the course of the battle. Should be an interesting one to watch. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Royer. Now get ready for this. Royer has gone for quantity over quality. He has got 17 Spartan units. Yes, I'll say that again. 17 Spartan units. If you look at the upgrades, can you see his forward units have only got 4 upgrades? Now that could either be silver attack, silver defense, or we know he's quite an aggressive player, so that could be gold defense and maybe a bronze attack on his forward units there. Okay, then he moved back and he's got 5 upgrades on the rest of his units there. So that could be gold attack and maybe silver defense. Okay, but as you can see there, but he's definitely gone for quantity over quality there. I always think personally an old-fashioned view is that to get the best out of Spartans you need gold shield, gold attack on them, but maybe that's just an old-fashioned view. It'd be interesting to see how well that army does during the course of the battle. Okay, their next teammate is RTW player Barclayman, and he's got 13 pikes, 4 archers and 3 cavalry. And if you notice there, can you see that forward unit has just got gold shield, gold attack on? Okay, and then the units behind them, that unit has got 7 upgrades on, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Then the rest of his units have got 8 upgrades on, which, remember, for Macedonian Royal Pikemen, 8 upgrades is the optimum upgrades for them there. Okay, and he's got like a mini army over here as well, if you notice there. 3 pike units backed up by 2 Cretan archers, and he's got his other 2 Cretan archers there in behind his main battle formation. There you go. So those archers are being protected by his pikes, and he's got his 3 cavalry there. Look at the upgrades on this. 7 upgrades and experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Remember, we looked at these guys before. They call them the winged horsemen because of the kind of the wings on their helmets. Don't forget, they've got a massive 9 charge bonus. Remember, the charge bonus is the impact and penetration a unit can do. Remember, Praetorian cavalry, Roman Praetorian cavalry, have only got a 7 charge bonus. These guys have got a 9 charge bonus. So, be interesting to see how well that does. The last teammate is someone who's called himself Gaul only, but is in fact Brotherhood member TR. He's got 12 chosen swordsmen, 1 druid, 2 cavalry, 2 archers and 2 light infantry. Count the upgrades on his chosen swordsman there. 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on his chosen swordsman. If you look there, you'll see he's got a warband unit there. If you notice, the warband units carry spears, so they are anti-cavalry there. Okay, he usually brings a diverse Gaulish army. And then, of course, he's got his druids. Remember that most barbarian units' morale is pretty low. So to bring a morale-boosting unit like a druid unit is a really good tactical move. And as I say, this is TR's faction of choice, Gaul. He's persevered with it for months and months. And he's also getting the winter bonus. Don't forget that. Because he's a barbarian faction, he's getting the winter bonus. And if he manages to fight in the woods, if he can get the battle in the woods, then he'll get the woods bonus as well. So there's the enemy team. A very diverse team. Should be a cracking battle for you to watch. And I hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I thought you might find it interesting looking at a couple of players' battle formations. This is Mars' Seleucid battle formation there. See how he's got 3 Silver Shield Legionnaires in the front, and then pikes, and then another couple of Legionnaires and more pikes at the back. That's an interesting Mars battle formation there. And there we got Fesen's tried and tested, sophisticated, battle-hardened battle formation there. We looked at that in depth before. And then Vidar's kind of more traditional, if you like, old-fashioned stacked pike or spear battle formation there. And if you notice, he's got 2 spearmen there, 2 spearmen there. Maybe for a bit of flexibility, he's got them outside the battle formation. Be interesting to see how well he uses them. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, you'll see both teams are forming up here. You'll see that Fesen and Mars are kind of integrating their armies. There, if you look closely there, Mars is bought. So I think the initial intention here was for Mars and Fesen to try and punch a hole through the center of the enemy battle line there with their combined armies. I think that's the initial intention. Okay, you can see them both moving towards the enemy Macedonian battle formation there. And I think, if I remember correctly, the enemy have got good archer advantage over us. They've got several more archers than us, so of course if they position their archers in the right place, they could take advantage of that. There you can see Mars taking some of his archers forward there to get in range. Remember, the Seleucid archers are only mid-range, so he has to get quite close to get in range there. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here. So, let's say here, I think the initial plan was for Fesen here to smash in to the Macedonian battle formation there, backed up by Mars. Now, I think that was the initial battle plan that they came up with between them there. Okay, so, and then Vidar here with his Carthaginians was going to take on the 17 units of Spartans there. Okay, so just to give you a heads up on that, I think that was the initial team battle plan there. And I was going to move forward with Mars and Fesen and assist where needed. Okay. So as I say here, you can see Fesen moving forward there. And as I say, you can see Mars moving forward as well. Okay, but remember that Royer has got 17 Spartans, but with less upgrades than you would normally expect. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with that army during the course of the battle. He's facing Vidar here with his Carthaginians. So that should be interesting to see what happens there. Here you can see that Fesen has thrown a couple of his militia units forward to rout those peasant units that were in front of him there, and maybe even go for the archer units. Nice move there by Fesen. Shows his aggression, and there's a Macedonian cavalry unit came out there and hit that militia unit there. Nice counter-attack there by Barclayman there. That cavalry. Right, now can you see Mars is now moving his infantry over towards Vidar on our right flank. Okay, so the battle plan has now changed. Okay, so over here you can see there's a lot of enemy cavalry, Macedonian, and a couple of Parthian cavalry there. Now they may well move those 5 units round our flank. Okay, ready to smash into us if we get engaged there. And over on our other flank there, if we move over to our right flank, their left flank, you'll see he's got 4 of his heavy cataphracts there. And it wouldn't surprise me if he took more cataphracts, or they were. He's got other cataphract units there. And looking at their positioning, it looks like he's going to move them over to their left flank, our right flank there. Okay, there you are. You can see them moving his cataphracts over to the other flank. Okay, so as I say here, you'll see Fesen moving forward, and as I say, on our right flank, you'll see Mars and Vidar are going to combine their army to take on those 17 Spartan units. Okay, so that may well be a good battle plan there. You know, that we've changed it now, because remember, Carthage punches way above its weight against the big 121-man pike units like Macedon has there, and Seleucid. Kind of thing. Right, pause the game for a second here. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm keeping my infantry here because I'm aware that those 3 pike units there will probably be brought in on to Fesen's flank as he advances into the forward units of the Macedonian battle formation, and then I can take my army forward and kind of neutralize that threat. Over here you'll see that TR is using his Gauls very effectively. He's got that one kind of army in reserve there. He usually splits his Gaulish armies into three. He's got kind of one smaller army there, reinforcing his Macedonian ally in the battle line itself. He's sending another small army, mini army, over towards Royer there to help on that flank. So nice support there by TR with his Gaul army. And as I say, here you can see Fesen being very aggressive there with his Carthaginians going into the Macedonian battle line. As I say, over on our right flank, you've got Mars and Vidar's Seleucid and Carthage units there, pushing into those 17 Spartan units. Okay. So this is kind of, you could almost say this is like two distinct battles at the moment, couldn't you? And myself and Fesen on this flank, and Mars and Vidar on the other flank there. As I say, I'm moving my army forward. Now, what I was thinking here, what might be a good idea, is to integrate my army with Fesen's. Okay, now can you think of the reason why I'd want to do that? Okay. Well, the reason that I would like to do that, you can see here Fesen is now engaged with those forward units of the Macedonians. And what I was thinking was, if I brought my army over and integrated it with his army, and then put my guys on auto fire, okay, imagine the amount of pillar damage that I could do to those enemy troops before I even get into hand-to-hand fighting. So that's a thought on that. And over here you'll see that we've got Mars's cataphracts and the Sacred Band cavalry there. Okay, and they may be there to try and neutralize those Parthian cavalry over on that flank. Okay, but as I say, here you can see Vidar's put a few of his units in to attack those Spartans. You can see that Mars has put a couple of his infantry units into Testudo there. Okay, but here you can see Vidar moving more of his spearmen forward there, and I can see that Mars has brought some of his pike units forward as well. Right, okay, so over here on our left flank, as I said, give you a heads up on that, I'm now integrated my army with Fesen's army there. Just going to move in close and then put my guys on auto fire and let them throw their pilers into, hopefully, Gaul chosen swordsmen and Macedonian pike units there. Okay, just to give you a heads up on that. But as I say, if you look, it is kind of like two separate battles, although very close to each other here. Okay, so as I say, you can see Mars's pike units there engaging the Spartans, as well as Vidar's units there. And as I say here, I'm moving forward even more now to get more of my units into range of the enemy troops there, ready to throw more pilers in. Okay, I'm also thinking already at this stage of the battle about old school, old-fashioned surge attack. Okay, so here you can see I've moved my units forward there. So now all my units are on auto fire, so they'll be throwing a lot of pilers, as I say, hopefully into Gaul chosen swordsmen and into Macedonian pike units there. Okay, but as I say, just to give you a heads up, I'm thinking about possibly doing an old school, old-fashioned surcharge through Fesen's infantry into the enemy troops there. Okay, but I'm just going to wait for the timing to be right on that. And meanwhile over here, as I say, you've got the Carthage army and the Seleucid army there fighting those 17 Spartan units. As I say, you can see those four chosen swordsmen of TR's in behind them there. Okay, now this was quite interesting, I thought. Both Mars and myself at the same time, without communicating, could see an advantageous position for us to position our cavalry. Okay, so just say we didn't communicate to each other, but we could just see a best place to do that, to use our cavalry. Right here, you can see those Macedonian pikes moving in on our flank. You've got the enemy archers there. You can see the Macedonian archers there moving around to a more advantageous position, and they will be shooting loads of arrows into the flank and rear of my units. Okay, but here, as I say, both Mars and myself almost at the same time are going to position our cavalry here. Now, can you see why we'd want to position our cavalry here? Okay, so that is, we're going to position our cavalry there to smash into the flank and rear of those engaged Spartan units. Okay, as I say, we both seem to think of the same idea at the same time there. As I say, no communication between us, but that's what we were looking to do. But because Mars has pulled his Seleucid cataphracts away, you'll see now that the Parthian cataphracts there are now attacking the Carthage sacred band units there. Okay, so Vicox saw his opportunity there of Mars pulling his cavalry away and then smashed those well-upgraded Parthian cataphracts into those sacred band cavalry and have now routed them, taken them out. Alright, so Vidar's now lost his cavalry, and the more dangerous thing now is that all that enemy cavalry are ready to smash into the back of our fighting allies' units there. Oh my gosh, this could be a pivotal moment of the battle. Okay, so both myself and Mars are looking to smash into the back of the engaged Spartans and TR's Gaul units there, where they smash into the rear of us. Right, okay, so what I've done here, as I said to you earlier, I have now started an old-fashioned, old-school surge attack. Can you see how my troops are now surging through Fesen's units? Now that's the first surge, okay? Let the troops settle and then I'll surge once again. There's a lot happening all at the same time at this battle. Right here you can see Mars is charging his cataphracts into the rear of those engaged Spartans. Right, I'm just about to charge my cavalry into the rear of those engaged Spartans as well. Okay, but you can see those cataphracts, those Parthian cataphracts of Vicox is there, ready to smash into the rear of our engaged spearmen as well. So, whoa, this could be, as I say, you could be witnessing a pivotal part of the battle there. Okay, so there you can see Mars' cavalry is charging. As I say, I'm surging again. My infantry is surging again into the enemy troops, but Mars' cavalry hits and bang as he smashes in there. But look at the Parthian cavalry coming in behind us and bang as they smash into our engaged troops. You can see my Scipio cavalry now going to charge into those Spartans. You can see I'm penetrating there through my Seleucid ally into the rear of those Spartans and bang! As I smash into them as well. Oh my gosh. So they've smashed into the rear of our engaged infantry, and our cavalry has smashed into the rear of their engaged infantry. Don't forget, we're getting loads of archers onto our cavalry. I saw a volley of fire arrows hitting my cavalry there. So you can see there, oh my gosh, could this be a pivotal part of the battle? Meanwhile, over here, you can see there that Fesen has attacked those units coming in on our left, but you'll see that my Scipii army, with those old school, old-fashioned surge attacks, have penetrated the enemy line there. You can see units going through, and as I say, Fesen here has sent units to engage these Macedonian units that were coming in on our flank and in behind us there. Okay, so well done to Fesen there. So as I say, it is like almost like two separate battles, isn't it? And here you can see the Gaulish infantry of TR helping his Macedonian ally there. But here you can see a lot of cavalry action here, and you can see a lot of those Spartan units have been routed there. But you can see some of our units have been routed as well from those Parthian cavalry coming in behind us. So wow, that was some kind of massive cavalry attack there on both of our engaged infantry from behind. Okay, but what I'm worried about now is that I'm going to get hit by those Parthian cavalry coming in on my cavalry with their effective against armor maces. Watch that switch. He's going to charge straight in. There you go. You can see him charging there, and another cavalry attack going into the Seleucid. Oh, that's a Macedonian general dead, and bang as he smashes in there. Oh my gosh. Right, let's just pause again for a second here. So here you'll notice that Vicox is alt-attacked, so his well-upgraded cavalry are using their effective against armor maces. Alright, you can see that. But you'll also notice that I've alt-attacked with my cavalry, and my guys are using their heavy swords instead of the light lance. Remember, you charge in with the light lance, but once you get into melee, alt-attack, so you use a heavy sword, it's got more effect. But here I've got a Spartan unit, an anti-cavalry Spartan unit moving in on my flank here. So I'm not sure how long my cavalry is going to hold there. They could be completely routed. Meanwhile, over here you'll see the Seleucid cataphracts of Mars and the Parthian cataphracts of Vicox smashing into each other there. You can see them fighting each other there, the Seleucid cataphracts and those Parthian cataphracts there. It looks to me like a lot of the infantry that was in between them has been routed now at this stage. So, oh my gosh, what a massive cavalry action this battle has turned out to be. The Parthian there and the Seleucid cataphracts. Remember, because the cataphracts are so heavily armoured, they tire a lot quicker than ordinary cavalry. Just to give you a heads up on that. But you can see more Parthian cavalry charging into the Carthage general there. But oh my gosh, and don't forget the enemy archers are shooting into us all the time. Both the Forester warband of Gaul and those two Cretan archers there shooting into the rear, I'm guessing, of Mars' cavalry. But meanwhile here you'll see that my infantry with that surge attack has broken through the enemy line there, managed to rout or maybe even killed the Macedonian general. And of course I'd like to take out the Gaul general as well. There, that's the Gaulish general, you can tell by the square banner. So I'd like to take that general out as well, take the general morale bonus away. Here you can see Fesen with those Carthage units taking on those Macedonian spearmen. Over here you've got the enemy archers here shooting into us mercilessly. Remember, they had quite a big archer advantage, and they'll be shooting into, looks like they're probably shooting into either the rear or flank of those Carthage units. Barclayman still got his cavalry units here ready to throw in when he's ready, maybe charge over there. But you can see there's a lot going on all at the same time, so it was quite a difficult battle to film this one, trying to get everything in. But here, as I say, you can see my cavalry, I think, is in a really bad position there. As you can see there, I'm getting hit by Spartans and those well upgraded Parthian cavalry that he's just pulled back from. I think I've got 2 cavalry units left now. I'm going to go for the archers, I think, if I remember correctly. Although that Macedonian cavalry looks like it's coming in on us as well. You'll see that Mars has pulled some of his cataphracts back as well there, so we're managing to take on those Macedonian cavalry there that were fresh. Remember, our units were either winded or tired. Those Macedonian units, I think, were fresh. Pause the game for a second here. So you can see here that we've still got a lot of Mars's and Vidar's pike and spear units left there, so that's good news for us. That's good news, and they can move against those Spartans. But you'll see that the Spartans have only got 3 units left. Look at that massive clump of dead Spartans there. So you can see that there's only 3 units of Spartans left. Here you can see a lot of enemy troops there. And don't forget, as I say, those archers have been shooting into us mercilessly all the way through the battle there with their archer advantage. Right, I'm going to try and take my infantry over here to help against those Spartan units that are left. Okay. So there you are, you can see me taking my Scipii cavalry infantry over there. I believe all my cavalry at this stage has now been taken out. So I've got no cavalry left at all. If I've got any pilers left, I'll be looking to throw pilers into those 3 very battle damaged Spartan units that are left there. Meanwhile, over on our left flank, you'll see... Oh, that's good news. Greek city's generals, I think, has just been killed. But here you'll see that Fesen is engaging that Macedonian unit here. And here you'll see Carthage. Oh, there's a Parthian cavalry coming in like a bang, bang, as they smash in there. Oh my gosh. I must just like to say here that Vicox plays Parthia really well in this battle. He uses the cavalry that he's got extremely well, but the problem is the more you use the cavalry, the quicker it gets tired, very tired and exhausted. That's the only problem. That's because the heavy armour that the cataphracts carry, right, is factored into this game, so they get tired quicker. Okay, I can see a possible loads of different cavalry avenues and angles into that bunch of Carthage spearmen there. We need to watch that a bit later on. But over here you'll see that the last of the Spartan units have now been routed. So that quality over quantity of warriors, was that a good thing? Well, we'll see at the kills at the end just to see. Okay, here, as I say, you got the archers and some chosen swordsmen there of the Gaul faction there, maybe ready to charge in. Don't forget those archers, as I say, been shooting into us all the time. There, to be charged forward. So, as I say, the archer damage that they've been doing to us. Oh, there you are. I've got a couple of my Scipii cavalry units left. I thought they'd all been taken out. But there you can see I charged into the enemy archers there, trying to take them out if I can. Right, now this is what I wanted to show you here. This is what I tried to speak about earlier. Can you see that big group of Carthage spearmen there? Look at the different angles, right, that Vicox is coming into that group. Bang, 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 hitting them all from different angles there. And the shock of the cavalry hitting that bunch of Carthaginians, right, could well cause those anti-cavalry Carthage Sacred Band troops to rout as they go in. Get ready for this, and bang, bang, ready to go, bang, and bang, as they smash in there. All from different angles, can you see that? And straight away, 5 of those Carthage units have now been routed, almost on impact, and the general unit is the only one that's holding out. See those Parthian cataphracts there using their effective armor maces? That is really good use and great display of how to use cavalry from different angles. And there you are, the Carthage general's been taken out as well. So a nice hit there by Vicox, but his cavalry are probably exhausted now. And you can see I'm moving my Scipii infantry over. I'm trying to get to the Carthage units before they were routed, but I'm too late. I've just ran all the way over from the other flank. They're trying to get over there, but I'm too late to help our Carthage ally. And I think that's all of Fesen's troops have now been taken out. Okay, but over here you'll see Mars and Vidar still fighting the enemy troops there, and they look like they've got that under control from what I can see. I don't know what you guys are thinking there watching this, but it looks like Mars and Vicox, as I say, sorry, Mars and Vidar have got that pretty well under control on our right flank. They're facing mostly, from what I can see, archers there. So well done to Vidar and Mars on our right flank. Let's say I brought my Scipii infantry over here now to the left, but you can see there, can you see that the cataphracts of Vicox are tired now? Very tired. And as I say, that's because they're so heavily armoured. This is factored into the game, and the more you use them, the quicker they get tired, very tired and exhausted. So he needs, you know, if possible, you need to rest his cavalry. But of course, in battle, you can't always do that just when you want to. Here you can see those Carthage units of Vidar there being attacked by alt-attacked archers. You'll see the fire arrows going in. Now remember, fire arrows don't just cause casualties, but they lower the morale of enemy troops as well. Now straight away, can you see the Carthage general unit's been routed? Another unit's been routed there. And make no mistake, that is the effect of fire arrows on battle damaged units. The battle damaged unit's morale is already low. You hit them with fire arrows and it lowers them to an extent that there's a good chance they will rout. Okay, plus you've got his general there smashing into them as well. But as I say, meanwhile over here, I'm taking my units forward to that against that one Macedonian unit. Now, whether the enemy cavalry will want to come in and try and hit my infantry, we'll just have to see. But they may well go for Mars's general there. See Mars's general, you can see that you've got Macedonian battle damage, Macedonian cavalry over here, possibly looking to smash into the flank of my infantry. Okay, and as I say, don't forget you've got the archers here all the time. I know I've spoken about it a lot, but it can be very important in a battle. The archers at the right angle shooting in arrows into our flank and rear, causing us a lot of casualties. But meanwhile over here, now when I first looked over here, I remember thinking, well, it looked to me like Mars and Vidar have got this under control over here. The next time I looked over, I see a heck of a lot of our troops being routed. But oh my gosh, there you are. What did we talk about earlier? Vicox has just taken out the Seleucid general. The Seleucid general's just been taken out, so he's taken the general morale bonus away from the Seleucids there. Okay, there you are. Oh, he was routed, now he's dead. So, there you go. That's what we thought he would do. But his troops now, I'm guessing, are very tired, or maybe even exhausted. So their battle proficiency will have dropped off the side of a cliff, and their morale would have as well. But how can he rest them and still carry on with the battle? Here you can see those 4 Carthage units of Vidars are still fighting forward, but he's being hit by fire arrows all the time, lowering his morale. I'm going to try and run my infantry over to help him there, to get over to him there, because as I say, the angle of fire arrows coming on them could start routing those units there. There's a unit of Mars is there as well. He's running forward to attack. Okay, so now this develops into a race. I'm trying to get over there to save my Carthage ally by hitting the enemy troops, and Vicox is trying to run over there to smash into the back of our Carthage ally to rout his troops. So it's kind of a race, but I'm a little bit in front there. And Vicox's cavalry, I'm guessing now, is... Oh my gosh, they're exhausted. They're at their worst battle proficiency. Okay, they can't get any worse. Their morale is as low as it's going to get. Their battle proficiency, the way they actually fight the battle, is now at rock bottom. So, unfortunately, even though Vicox has done really well with his cavalry, as I said to you, because the heavy armor that they carry is factored into the game, they get tired, very tired and exhausted very quickly. And unfortunately there, as I say, that I just don't think, and they slow down as well, because of course being so tired and everything, they don't run as fast, which of course lowers their momentum, stops their charge bonus as well. And there you can see my troops have reached my allies there, and I'm looking to rout those Gaul troops, as you can see there. And there's that Parthian cavalry charging in there, but exhausted cavalry, unfortunately for Vicox, even though he's played really well with them. I think they will rout pretty quickly, actually. You can see me moving more infantry in there, and actually they held longer than I thought they would do, being exhausted. So well done to Vicox. I thought Vicox was very brave, actually, bringing cavalry, a cavalry army, if you like, against 2 Carthage and a Seleucid pike faction. So he did really well with them. Here you can see the last of the Gaul troops by the looks of it. All right, there you are. He's just admitted defeat there. So it looks like our team has managed to go on and win the battle. Just to have a look at what troops that we've got left, just to show you how close this battle was. You can see here, I think, if I remember right, Mars might have 4 units left. That's 1, 2, yeah, 3 and 4 there. Yeah, very, very battle depleted units, but he's got 4 units left. If I remember, I think Vidar might have 2 units left, maybe. Yeah, there you are, and that's all that Vidar's got left out of his well-upgraded Carthage army, 2 units. Okay, that's all he's got left there. Oh, maybe 3 units. Maybe he's got 3 units left there altogether, but they're all very, very battle depleted. And poor old Fesen, of course, I think all of Fesen's units were routed. But my guess is, watching how well he was fighting the Macedonians and things. Oh, there you are. He's got 1 unit left there, one of the militia units that he had. So he's got 1 unit there and another militia unit. So at the end of the battle, he's got 2 militia units left, but he's lost his 16 sacred band units. But I got a feeling he's got some good kills there. Now over here, you've got 2 distinct battlefields, if you like. This is the one battle, remember, where Vidar and Mars were fighting those 17 units of Spartans there. You certainly can see the dead red-cloaked Spartans in the snow, can't you? You can see loads of cavalry, the Parthian and Seleucid cataphracts smashed. And look at that massive group of Spartans dead there. Oh my gosh, that is a massive clump of red-cloaked Spartans dead there. And then you got like a little battle in between there. cavalry hits there. That looks like Macedonian cavalry against the Seleucid cataphracts there. And over here, this is where Vicox, remember with his Parthians, hit those Carthage Sacred Band cavalry. If you notice, there's only a few Parthian cataphract dead there in amongst those Sacred Band cavalry there. And we move over here, and this is the second, if you like, big part of the battlefield there. This is where myself and Fesen took on the Macedonians and the Gaulish troops there as well. You can just see all the dead there laying in the snow. Just goes to show how tough this battle was. Big, massive cavalry hit here. You can see dead Parthian cavalry in amongst those lots of other dead troops there as well. As we move across the battlefield there. Oh my gosh. Big, big battlefields there. There's kind of, like, as I say, where the two distinct battles were fought. You can see piles of dead. But as I say, if you look all around the battlefield, you'll see dead as well. So it was quite a spread out battlefield there. I think that's the last of the enemy units there, shooting arrows into us right up to the end. Wouldn't surprise me if he admitted defeat. There you are, he's just admitted defeat. And as I say, it looks like our team's managed to go on to win the battle. Do you think this would be average or close? Which do you think it'll be before the result comes up? Ha, there you go. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game. As you saw, everybody played it really well in that battle. And as I said before, we have very rare close battles. Very, very rare for us to have close battles. So when we do have one, I do like to show it. Okay, now the highest kills in the game, as we thought, goes to Brotherhood member Fesen. 1,786 kills. Well done to Fesen with his tried and tested faction of choice army. Well done to him. I thought that was very good kills there. But also look at Vicox there with the Parthian army. Second highest kills in the game. Now, before we did that rule change of 10 cavalry max for Parthia, because their infantry and archers are so bad, we never saw Parthia on the 31k battlefield. But it goes to show, doesn't it, if you tweak the rules a little bit, a faction that you never see is now doing really well and getting the second highest kills in a really tough battle. So really well done to Vicox. And, you know, I thought he played the cavalry really well there. But as I say, with heavy cataphracts like that, the more you use them, the tired, very tired and exhausted they get so quickly. So they're difficult to handle. But he did really well with them there. So well done to Vicox. Well done to Royer. Now he went for quantity over quality with his 17 Spartan units. Yes, he got over 1,000 kills. But do you think he might have got more kills with Gold Shield, Gold Attack Spartans? Please put your thoughts in the comments. I'd like to read what you think about that. 17 units of Spartans there. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I always think Gold Shield, Gold Attack best, but that's just my old-fashioned view. Well done to Barclayman there. Got some good kills with Macedon. And I would think TR might be a bit disappointed he got less than 1,000 kills with his Gaul army there. But he does persevere with Gaul. So very well played, guys. My kills, well, not too bad. Not great, but yeah, not too bad there. Well done to Mars, got some good kills with his Seleucid army there. Well done to him, did really well. And as I say, well done to Fesen, highest kills in the game. And Vidar got over 1,000 kills as well. So well done to him with his Carthage army there. So really well done, that's some good kills. Now what about faction advantage? Do you think either team had faction advantage? We've got Rome, Seleucid, Carthage and Carthage. Okay, that's quite solid. And they got Parthia, Greek cities, Macedon and Gaul. So I think, to be honest, we did have faction advantage there, as you would agree. But just once again, a little talk about Vicox there. He was very brave bringing a cavalry army against 2 Carthage and Seleucid anti-cavalry spear and pike units there. So he was brave bringing that cavalry, and to get that many kills, right, to get that many kills fighting anti-cavalry, all those anti-cavalry units, I thought well done to Vicox there with that Parthian army there. Okay, so we play every Friday, Saturday and Sunday night if you'd like to join us. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.